Hi again, everybody, and welcome to Around the Town with Chuck. My name is Chuck Guglielmo, and we are here at the St. John's School recording today's show on, Tuesday, February 3rd. We have Sister Maureen Burke, president of the St. John's School. How many years, sister?
16.
16 years here at St. John's School. Does it seem like that?
No, it doesn't.
Well, you have done, I have to say, a tremendous job. Keith and I were talking before we came on the show. We've got, one of the reasons he came here is because you were here, but he also said that we're close to 650 students here and quite a list application-wise right now.
Well, I appreciate the kind words, but I'd be remiss if I didn't say it's not me, it's we. There's a whole cadre of people who have been supporters of St. John and have really made this happen. And I'm blessed to be able to work with them and to call on them as friends and supporters. And in the 16 years I've never was an Ashtabula girl, and now I found my home here. So,
well, you're doing a fantastic job, and while you were talking away there, I lost my notes. So I'm going to have to wing this interview.
You can do it.
I don't know what happened to my notes. They're not on the floor anywhere, are they? I had all these questions for Sister, and now I'm going to have to. And now I'm going to have to try to wing this. So
I'll help
forgive
you.
me if I. So talk a lot.
okay, I can talk a lot.
We also have Kristen Kitchen here, and your title, Kristen, is
Oh, my official title?
your official title.
Associate Director of Advancement.
Okay, and you've been doing that now, what, 3 years?
I'm going into my third year,
You're
so
in your
I've
third
officially
year.
been here 2 years.
And how do you like that position?
Oh, I love being here at the school. The role itself is similar to my career path in regards to fundraising for education or social service missions. And so it was a beautiful opportunity for me because my daughter is a student here. So she will graduate in the class of 2037. And her name is Caroline. And so she's currently a first grader. And I appreciate that I have the opportunity to do something I love, but also have the chance to bring her to and from school.
Very good. And of course, we're going to talk a lot about this SGO. It's that time of the year, and I think this is the second time you're doing this, or is this also the third time now?
This will be the third year for us
you
at
started
St. John.
this.
Yes.
Okay, and something caught my eye on that I want to talk about. But let's go back to Sister Maureen now. I'm going to try to remember what I had on my notes. But how about, I don't think I've ever asked you this, if you could recognize and acknowledge your administrative staff here at the school and what their roles are.
So staff has grown in the 16 years that I've been here. So first would be our school principal, Scott Plesha. So he's responsible for the academic and growth of the school. So if you're likening it to a business model, he would be the internal person as the chief executive officer for the internal role of the school. So he deals with all the academics, deals with the teachers, all the people under him.
And if I remember, he came to us from the Cleveland area?
Yes, he was a teacher and campus minister at Trinity High School in Garfield Heights. And then he's assisted by Millicent Zulo, who's a graduate of the school. She's the assistant principal. So she assists Scott primarily probably in the primary grades, elementary K through 6. Scott's background is high school, so when we added an elementary school person as an assistant principal, we wanted to be able to make sure that we had, the pre-K through 12. Yeah, so
but they still could.
Yeah, they still,
Right.
in many areas cross over. Millie does a lot with the extracurricular activities of the school, so she deals with the high school students in terms of that. Scott deals with the academics on the pre-K through 6 level. So there's a lot of crossover, but we wanted to make sure that we had expertise and practical experience on both sides of the equation. So that's in terms of the academics. And then our head of guidance is Amanda Brace, also a graduate of the school. So she deals with overseeing the guidance department and social services for students and their families, academic counseling for colleges for our high school students. She's assisted by 2 other members of the guidance department.
I think it's nice having St. John graduates come back and fill
Yes.
in these roles
I
as
think
well.
it talks about the importance of people in the community. They know the community, they know what students are dealing with in the area, and can talk about it. Both Millie came right out of college. Amanda was in practice on her own and worked for counseling services before accepting the position as department chair for the guidance department. Then we have the advancement team, headed up by Christy Garrett, who is our director of advancement. So she deals with the overall fundraising appeals and engaging members of the community, both alumni, community members, foundations, assisted by Kristen Kitchen as the associate director, Keith Corlew as the admissions and marketing director. So those are the advancement team members. And then Roland Valentic is our finance director. He deals with making sure all our books are in order. And then Aaron Wilson, one of the more recent members of the team, is our campus minister, so deals with faith development, faith coordination of service projects, liturgy, prayer services, that type of activity. Nick Irochi, who's been on your program before, is our athletic director. And Jeremy Brown is our director of operations, recently hired. He's just finishing his first year. I think March was his anniversary. So he came on board last year to help us maintain our facilities, especially with the addition of the student center, to be able to coordinate all the maintenance operations in the school. And then we have two wonderful administrative assistants. Mary Ann Hartwell is the chief administrative assistant, knows more about the school than anybody. And then Michelle Martino, our receptionist, face of the school, because when people come in, she's there, she's always got a smile,
I have to say, yes, what a welcome we get.
you know. And in
And
this,
that's important.
oh, it's very
That's a
important.
good start to coming into the school
Right.
right there.
And they also now, you know, with, unfortunately, with society where it is, they also are the ones who are on the front line of making sure that people coming in are the people that she knows and can vouch for, and we have a whole student and visitor pass system, so that if a person comes in that she doesn't know, hasn't been here before, we have a system where we put their driver's license through and we can vouch for their credentials to keep people safe. Thanks to ID Technologies, Conneaut family, Blendon family, we've upgraded our camera and security system, so we can see anybody at any time in the building, and Michelle has that camera system up on her monitor in the office, so that we can see who's coming through the doors, we can see delivery systems in the back, the whole 9 yards. So we're very grateful to Doug and his family for helping us install that and be able to monitor that. And in the spring, if the weather ever thaws, we'll be installing more cameras outdoors so that we can have a better grasp of the parking lot and cars coming in and out of the building.
We got another vortex coming in the middle of February.
Thank you very
Just
much.
trying to give you a little warning.
You're also the weatherman. Yes.
I try to be.
I love, well, and I love what you mentioned too about our graduates and returning, because even
I think that's
the
crucial.
last handful of the team that Sister just mentioned, RJ, Michelle, Marianne, Nick, Jeremy, they are also all graduates of the school. And for someone, you know, who's newer to the St. John family, that means a lot to see that
If they
folks
wanna come
return.
home. Yeah, if they
Exactly.
want to come back home. We're going to give you a little bit of a break, sister, and we're
Okay.
going to go over to Kristen. So start thinking of your staff, classroom staff, because that's coming up next.
I like that, a little heads up there.
Yeah. SGO stands for,
Scholarship Granting Organization.
okay, and you were telling us at the beginning that this will be the third year you're doing this.
Yes,
And what caught my eye, and I heard you say this at Mass on Saturday,
yes.
that what you, if I got this right, what
Mm-hmm.
you donate actually comes back to
It
us.
does.
You've got to explain that for me.
Well, absolutely, and I
our
appreciate the
viewers.
opportunity, because it can be a little confusing, you know, sometimes with taxes. And part of our efforts this year is to really educate the community that your taxes can benefit St. John students directly with the scholarship granting organization. So I strategically wore this special t-shirt for you today, Chuck, that says I love tax credits, because it is a tax credit program. So if you pay Ohio income tax, you have the opportunity to participate in the St. John SGO. So with that being, whether you typically receive a refund with your taxes or you owe state taxes, you can still participate in this program, because if you're getting a refund and you give a contribution to the SGO, whatever your refund amount is, it will increase by the amount you donate to the SGO, meaning you get your money back,
Right.
as you said. So
Wow.
your understanding is correct.
Wow.
So I like to use the example of my husband and I. As individual taxpayers, you can give up to $750 a piece. So last year we were receiving a refund, and we decided to do the full amount of $1,500 as a married couple filing jointly.
So whether you do it individually or jointly.
Exactly. So you qualify either way. And we made our contribution to the SGO. We attached our acknowledgement letter, sent in our return, and when we got our refund deposited, it included our, I think we had, $250 or something in our refund, but it also included our $1,500. So it was, we like to use the analogy of a boomerang, where what you give comes back to you because you get your money back. But the reverse is also true, that you can participate if you owe income tax, because instead of writing a state or a check to the state of Ohio, you would make your payment to St. John. So, and it satisfies what you owe to the state. And which in turn is beautiful for us, because you're keeping your tax dollars local, you're choosing to keep them with local students, but you're also taking care of what you might owe in your income tax. So really the program as a whole is no actual cost to you, but it has a huge impact on our students.
And one of the reasons we like it is you might not be connected to St. John's School. A lot of your listeners in Conneaut probably don't connect to St. John. They're active members in Conneaut, or maybe active members in the Ashtabula County area. This is a way to help the county. This is a way to help the local community. If you pay your regular taxes, your money goes to Columbus, and yes, you have some say when you vote for your representatives and use your voice to make your feelings known about issues. This way your money stays in Ashtabula County. And when we
that's
put
what
up
we
the
wanted to
$6
see.
million
Exactly.
addition in 2025, the HVAC system company was from Ashtabula County. The general contractor was from Ashtabula County. The painters were from Ashtabula County. The electrician was from Ashtabula County. Those were all
How
jobs that
wonderful that is.
we kept in the county.
Yeah.
They're paying not only state taxes, they're paying Ashtabula, Saybrook, Geneva, their local taxes as well. We want a thriving community. We made it a deliberate effort to provide all of the services that we were using for that building to stay in the county. So even if you aren't really connected to St. John, this is a way to help Ashtabula
County, right? That's a good point.
And I love that you share that too, because we're the only SGO currently in Ashtabula County. So it's an opportunity to make a bigger impact than you may otherwise know very easily.
Kristen, you said this is the third year for St. John doing SGO, right? And so where did you get this? Where did this idea come from?
I love
Has
that
it always been around?
I
don't
love
know.
that you asked me that question, but this is definitely a vision of Sister that I've had the opportunity to learn from and grow the program with. And so I'd love for you to share the story of how it came to be, because I joined the team after the footwork was really in place.
So the state of Ohio passed this law 4 years ago that scholarship granting organizations that either existed or applied for that designation could allow this to happen. So it began on the state level. We decided to apply and form our own state scholarship granting organization foundation. So we applied with the help of the board. We went through the process, a little bit tedious in terms of filling out all the paperwork for you. Anybody who's dealt with the state knows that it's not one paper, it's multiple. So we were granted full status 3 years ago. Began the first year, small efforts, and then brought on Kristen to really grow the program, to work with our local CPAs and tax credit preparers to be able to do that.
And it sounds to me like Kristen's done an outstanding job.
Definitely. Program has, grown from the first year. I think we brought in like maybe 20,000, and then last year up to 100 and...
We were just over 180,000 last year with about 108 donors.
So, this year I've given her the challenge. We want 200 donors. Get it up to 250,000.
Are you listening, everyone?
We
I
gotta
need
give her
your
a
help.
challenge every year, right?
Right. Because really what we're growing towards is in 2027, this program will become a federal program. And not only can you use it for your state taxes, you'll be able to use it for your federal income taxes.
Yes.
So all those details aren't worked out yet for the federal program. They're still negotiating in Congress, the line items, and the law has been passed, but now the details have to be, worked out. So we're, gearing up for that so that, we can have 300 donors, because not everybody pays federal income taxes.
Fantastic. Challenges can be stressful, but aren't they very good? Aren't
Oh,
they
I
very
love-
good for our minds to have a challenge?
Oh, I love a challenge.
Yes. She's got a whole list, she told me she's got for you.
I already knew that, Chuck. No. No, I think we as St. John do, though. I think that that's something we come by as a team, not just necessarily with this specific program. There's always the opportunity to serve our children in different ways. And that takes a different shape each year, even with our theme that we have each school year. And our leadership programs and things of that, of what we're expecting of our students, but also what we expect of one another.
Absolutely.
As members of the St. John team. And so this is a bold goal for us this year, to be over 200 donors. We'd like to exceed 250,000. So I do think it's feasible, especially because as we continue to strategically grow the program each year, the more people understand it, the more they help us spread the word. It's very easy. It's an easy way to give, where you are either literally getting your money back or you're paying a bill that you owe. So why wouldn't you do some good?
Exactly.
And take an extra 3 to 5 minutes when you're doing your taxes, or if you have a tax preparer, to make them aware, to really have the chance to see the faces of our 650 children and what they're doing in the community.
No, what a great project you brought here to St. John's School on this. Sister, speaking of challenges, before I ask you my next question, I just thought of this. I've been talking to a lot of the area superintendents, and they say the big challenge is, do I or do I not call off school on a winter weather day? They will tell you that's their biggest thing to do. They feel like they're like a basketball official. Some side's going to like me, the other side's not going to like me if I call it or not. What's your thoughts on that? Now, I know you're not a superintendent, but you're pretty close to that as your title right here.
Right. So we rely on our area superintendents and their decision, because especially Ashtabula, Geneva, those are the two big ones that provide transportation. So if they close school, we will close school too. So I kiddingly tell people this is in the days when we walked 10 miles uphill.
Both ways.
Both ways.
Yeah.
I say that all the time too.
So, I guess I think sometimes we've erred too much on the side of caution, but I understand that you don't want a student, standing out in the cold, in this winter weather.
Especially that extreme.
Yes, I mean last week was extreme.
phenomenal.
I guess sometimes I think we err too early in the season on closing, not realizing that we're going to have severe weather later.
Yeah.
But I respect the superintendents. We work closely with them. I'm grateful for their willingness to kind of be the ones on the front line.
Yeah.
And certainly it's not an easy decision to make.
No, it's not. If you close the schools, somebody's not happy or vice versa.
Well, it's
the
hard
other
for
way.
parents. I mean, you know, parents have a routine. You know, in today's society, we have many, many families that have two parents working. And so what do you do at the last minute when, you know, you have children home? And, you know, it's easy to say, you know, go online. We have all the technology to do that. But for students in, you know, K through 6, somebody needs to be home showing them how to get online,
Absolutely.
how to stay. I mean, it's
Absolutely.
not as easy as it seems. Older students, a little bit easier. But we found during the pandemic and COVID, yes, it's possible, but it takes a great deal of preparation to make it happen. And I appreciate that the superintendents are aware of that, and they have tried, especially when weather is, it's not snow, it's the frigid cold, and those predictions aren't going to change. It's not like the snow's going to blow one way and, you know, it's cold, that they've made the decision as early as possible so parents could make alternate plans, either they're working remotely or they're calling on grandma and grandpa or next door, you know, Mrs. Davis to, you know, pinch in and help, because that's the hardest part for
It
parents.
is.
And especially parents of little children.
And a lot of superintendents are hesitant to close the schools because of the free breakfasts and lunches
Right,
for a lot of our kids in the
Right.
county.
Yes.
So that's why they're kind of,
And yes, we could offer, and we talked about it here, you know, people could come and pick up lunch. We did that during COVID. But if it's that cold and there isn't public transportation and there isn't a school bus bringing them, how are they going to get there?
right. Good point again. That's 2 good points Sister said so far this morning.
I get two points?
She's kind of a smart lady. I don't know if you figured that out yet, Chuck, but
Oh, I know. That's why I wanted my notes. I'm winging it.
that just means you'll have to come back sometime.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
Yeah, I lost my train of thought.
Sorry.
Oh, back to the weather stuff. So hopefully it won't come to it, but when you run out of calamity days, what's the policy here at St. John's
We would
School?
have to
Do you
add-
make up days?
It's, so once, it used to be 5 calamity days, that used to be the old state law. They
that's
changed
gone.
that, that's gone. So now it's based on hours. So it would be
Here
based.
too.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, we would probably add time to a day, or, you know, right now we're in good shape. So unless we get another week like last week, or another 2 weeks like last week, we would be okay.
No, I think Geneva schools had a time to a day when we had a problem with weather. a few
Yeah,
years
so that
ago.
would be probably the first, or we would eliminate some, we might cut a day off of Easter break, or some other days where we have an in-service day or something. We would look at the calendar to make it happen.
Before you would think about adding it on to the end of the year.
For 2 reasons. One, I'm not sure how effective academic learning would be
At the end of the
at
year.
the end of the year.
Yeah.
Adding
I
a
agree.
day, you know, seniors already graduated, people have scheduled events, just putting a day to satisfy learning hours would not be the most effective. We'd be much more effective cutting a day off of Easter break, cutting a professional in-service day, something like that, to satisfy the hours, and just saying we're coming back on Monday, June 2nd, and, you know, kids aren't going to, I mean, I don't even know if kids would show up. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
and I can't blame them.
Weather-wise, since you've been here, has this been the worst year for calling days
Yes,
off?
yeah. Last year was bad because of the Thanksgiving. We were off that whole week after Thanksgiving when we had the 60 inches of snow. But after that, we might have missed one day after that, I don't remember. This has been the worst in terms of especially cold, frigid weather.
And it's affected extracurricular activities as well, hasn't it?
I feel bad for Nick Irochi. He's, you know, every day
yeah.
has to reschedule, and, you know, we play some independent, you know, we're in a conference, but we play some independents as well. But our first obligation is to the conference, so we have to reschedule those games, and it might mean then dropping an independent game later on, and vice versa. We might be playing somebody who's in a conference, and they have to drop us because they have to make up their conference games.
Now, what's the policy here on say on a sports night?
If there's no school, there's no
game, no matter if it's whatever it's for. Like if
Unless-
it's real cold in the morning and then it warms up by the game time.
as a home game, once the building is closed, we're closed.
Okay.
Because otherwise it's saying that extracurriculars and sports are more important than academics. And
That's a hot topic right now going around too.
yeah, it becomes probably a little bit more challenging regarding practice. But right now, our policy and the diocesan policy,
Before it closed,
everything's closed.
everything's closed. That's one way, well, everybody will know what the message
Right.
is. You don't have to say, well, are we gonna have a game
Yeah,
today or
because some
tonight?
coaches will say, oh, my kids can get here, I'll make sure that they're safe.
Yeah.
Well,
Now, what about if it's an away game?
if it's an away game, they can go if their school is open.
If
So-
their school is open?
You know, we have some games where, weather can change, not so much the cold weather. Last week, I think every game that we had
Oh,
was
yeah,
canceled
that was-
because everybody from
Yeah.
Cleveland to, South County, I think one day South County, a couple schools were open, we were closed. We didn't have a game with them that night. That was at their place.
Okay, that's good to know. Staff-wise now here, sister, if you could work your way through your grade levels and recognize some of those members that we don't hear too much about. I know
Well-
one of them's from Conneaut, kindergarten teacher.
We have great kindergarten teachers. They're wonderful. I have to have 3 shows to go through every teacher because we have some great teachers. I'm going to talk about one that just stopped in my office a few minutes ago. She's our government teacher, and she just told me that there was a Supreme Court decision, which I have to go back and read. I was a government teacher, I don't remember it all, but it was Mary Tinker. It dealt with freedom of speech during the Vietnam War era. And she reached out to her, and Mary's going to set up a Zoom conference with our junior government classes so they can talk with her. She was a young woman when the case was heard and when she went through. So, it's showing kids that their voice is important, that they can find a way to use their voice. And she's very much a topical teacher. She did a whole program on your civic duty as a member of a jury, about the importance of voting. So she's very active in that realm. Another high school teacher that believes in hands-on education is one of our science teacher, Leslie Baker. She has started, she's doing it now for about 4 years, a trout program where they get small trout and they see them grow and they tend, I don't know all the details, they tend to them and caretake, and then in the spring they'll do a trout release here in the Ashebula River so that they can see what it's like to partake. And what's interesting, one of our grandparents who's in the area, has grandkids in the school, and her kids went here. Her grandson is a wildlife specialist in, I think he's in Wyoming. I just emailed him last night. I should remember where he's at. But he's heard from his grandmother that we had this program. Was thrilled by it. He said, if I can do anything long distance, he said, obviously I'm not, in town, but he spearheads large programs for the federal government on fish and turtles. And he said, I can probably zoom in and talk with the kids about this. And I think that's what we're, aiming to do, is to have programs where kids can see not only what they learned in the book and the textbook, but really practical applications of it. And those are 2, wonderful examples, of that. And that's what the SGO is meant to help.
Right.
To,
Right.
support those kids who have that. And he acknowledged when he emailed me about it, he said he had 2 great science teachers, Mrs. Gilpin and Mr. Birch, and they spurred his love of science and wildlife, and it took off with him. And that's what I think teachers don't often hear, that they're making a difference that might not show up in February of 2026, but might show up in February of 2036.
From what you've seen, Kristen, you hear this from all over the county, that
Sure.
Saint and sisters told me this in previous interviews, that we're like a big family here at St. John's School. And I hear that all the time too. What do you see that makes that true?
Ooh, I could give so many examples, because you hear it, but then until you're here and you're part of the fold, you really begin to feel it and see it. So I think it's both, tangible and intangible. So from a family perspective, you're with your colleagues, and we're with our students more than we're with our own maybe blood family members. And so it really does become true for us, because we're not only here to serve our children academically, but we are one another's system. We are each other's support system as colleagues, as adults in the building to our younger students. And for me, it's in the simple things. It's the little things, like when we have a colleague who has just gone through some medical issues, and how we're trying to rally around and support him, even though that's what he's dealing with personally. Or the fact that when we have an event, it's all hands on deck. There's no real, we do have our specific job responsibilities, but at the end of the day, it's what's going to be best for St. John and what's going to be best for our students and families that are here. And so you take on extra responsibilities to make things happen, or help someone out with a project, or whatever that looks like. So I think you get to see the best in others, both professionally and personally. And I would say that's true for us as colleagues, but then also within our students as well. Because even from our own example, with Caroline being an only child, I really wanted her to be surrounded by friends that she grew up with and that she would know. And she has that opportunity here, because every day they are learning about their faith. They're learning about what it means to be a good, kind human. And when we go to ballet class at the Ashtabula Art Center or the Conneaut Art Center, which we've done both, she's seeing friends from her school, and there's connections that exist beyond, obviously, the classroom. And so for us, we appreciate that as a family. And then as an employee, I do as well, because we're working for the betterment of one another. And that's what it means to be a family. Take care of one another.
And it's showing out there in the community all over. Sister, you said to me before in a previous interview that St. John's School may be the right school for you. St. John's School may not be the right school for you. We got a lot of new viewers, proud to announce.
Good for you.
Because we're on a new platform now. Tell us exactly what you mean by that. Well, start with what makes St. John a good school for somebody.
Well, I think one, we're faith-based. We're a Catholic school. We have a large percentage of non-Catholics who want a faith-based education. Where God plays a role in your life, where prayer is a part of every day, and service and outreach are important to you. So that faith-based is probably the first criteria, that not everybody wants that for their family for whatever reason, and we respect that. We're a smaller school, so we don't necessarily have every opportunity that some of our public school colleagues are able to offer in their school system.
I like to call it the biggest, smallest school.
Oh, I like that,
I like
sister.
to call it that way because 650, I mean, that's amazing to me. Go ahead, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, that's fine. In terms of size, I mean, you're, an average class of first graders to 12th graders, 50, 60 students in a class composite, whereas, some of our counterparts have 100. So sometimes a student might feel too much in a fishbowl, that there's, just all that
That's a good
focus
way to
on them.
put it, yeah.
And some kids just don't thrive in that environment. So, that's part of it. We certainly have made many, many efforts to be able to develop more programs for a broad cross-section of students. So we have students on IEPs, we have AP classes, we have students who take college credit classes at Kent State, at Lakeland Community College. So we've tried to look at the spectrum, but we're not going to be able to be all things for all people. We don't have a strong craft, the word's going from me right now, where they're going to learn plumbing, but we do have students who go to ATEC for some of those programs. So, we're very proud of the programs that we offer. We're proud that we're able to serve a diverse student body, but some students may not, some students may not like McDonald's and they prefer Burger King. Not every student's going to find, a home here.
He prefers Burger King.
But I think the important thing is that we believe that all students deserve a quality education.
Yes.
So whether
Yes.
they choose St. John, whether they choose Conneaut Public Schools, Ashtabula Public Schools. It should not be an us versus them kind of mentality. All students
Well
deserve
put.
a quality education.
Well put.
And I will never allow anybody to criticize or put down our public school colleagues. They have a different mission than we have. We have a mission of creating students who want a quality education, want to become faith-based leaders, and want to become leaders. That's our mission. And we invite people to join us in that mission as students, as community members. Public schools have a different mission. And we commend them for being there for other students who don't choose St. John's School.
On the faith-based part, Father Connor Hetzel is quite a role model here for these kids at
Yes,
St.
he is.
John's School. I see it. I hear it, I see it, and how much of that is because of his age, would you say?
I'd say a lot of it's his age, but I think it's also his presence. He is fully committed. He's here every Thursday.
He gets involved with them in activities
Yes,
as
he
well.
goes to football games.
Yes.
He's been at basketball games. He's sung the national anthem at
Oh, I wish I
events.
could have seen that because he's a wonderful singer.
Yeah, he's a wonderful singer.
He did the dodgeball tournament.
He did the
did?
dodgeball tournament.
In a pinch, I have to share this, sister. We had to try to find him shoes because he had his dress shoes because we needed an extra player, and of course there was Father Hetzel.
He's been
And
at
the
the
kids
tennis
loved
matches.
it.
Yeah.
Quite the role model.
He comes through the lunchroom and just talks to students, and
How often would you say he visits the school?
every week. He's here every Thursday.
Oh, every Thursday he's here. Okay, then doesn't he
And
do,
then
he
he
does
also
mass
does
here?
Does
Mass
mass
on
on
Monday.
Thursdays,
Chapel.
does mass on Monday mornings for the
In our
parish
chapel.
here. But on Thursday, he's here all day.
Now, when he's here on Thursday, does he ever go into the
He
classroom?
goes into classrooms. He is available for students who want to come talk to him one-on-one. Goes through the cafeteria and talks to students in groups. Talks to faculty and staff.
I think that's outstanding.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
Yeah, that's got to be a great addition.
Absolutely. And I like how you said, sister, it's his presence. You know, he wants to be here, he wants to engage, and he knows the school and knows the children.
And the first thing that came to my mind, obviously, was age, because he's, what,
Right.
31?
Yeah.
Somewhere around
Some
there.
kids can relate to him, but
Yeah.
he had a great conversation, it was probably last school year, with one of our maintenance staff about motorcycles and Harleys and,
Yeah.
and that staff member's in his 60s. So I think you can relate to people of all ages.
All right, fundraisers. Let's talk about fundraisers now. I don't know who. Both can
Well,
speak on that. You
First
just-
fundraiser is the SGO. Let's,
Yeah, right, you got that big St. Patrick's Day thing coming up.
We do,
You know,
we
for our
do.
Irish folks.
So in the midst of, so SGO season obviously runs through April 15th. So as long as folks are interested in participating, they simply have to do it before they file their tax return. So not only are we
Which goes
active
all the way to
April
15th.
15th.
Yeah.
So yes, so we can still, if you need your letter on April 15th, we are still here to oblige. So we will continue obviously sharing our efforts with that and trying to help people understand how easy it is and how meaningful it is. And that it works. I think sometimes folks think it's too good to be true. I'm really going to get my money back, or I can pay you and not the state and I'm good. Absolutely. And that's the beauty of it, like Sister said, because it's for our home, it's for our county, and it's for local children.
Like
And that's
this-
what's important to us.
Like you were at Our Lady of Peace on Saturday.
Yes.
Now, do you go to any of the other churches to give that same message?
I do. I'm on my tour, my church
I have her on a tour.
So what churches
I feel
do you
like I
visit?
should get a concert T-shirt. No, so we started obviously with our neighboring parish with Our Lady of Peace this weekend. This coming weekend on February 8th, I'll be with St. Joseph in Jefferson to join them for Mass and their social. The following weekend, I will be with both St. Andrew and Corpus Christi in your area, and then 2 weekends after that, I will be with Assumption in Geneva. So we're still.
So the word is getting out there for all these communities.
We really are trying because, as Sister referenced, it's not just a St. John program. So while it is
Right,
the St. John
right, the county.
SGO, there is an opportunity for anyone paying Ohio income tax to direct it to Ashtabula
And I
County.
have to give Kristen credit. We're the largest, we've had the most success of any school in the Diocese of Youngstown.
Really?
But I credit that to our community and to our local CPAs, because I'm not always the one in front of a taxpayer saying, hey, did you know about this this tax credit opportunity? Those are individuals like J.J. Eaton, Michael Zullo, Andre LaSalle, folks in our area, Rich Vanek at Snodgrass. There's so many hearts and minds going into sharing this opportunity as best we can so that we can have the most impact.
And if a person goes to a tax preparer and the tax preparer says, I don't think that's true, have them call us.
Yeah,
Because
call Sister or I, we can help.
I think some tax preparers aren't that familiar with this program either.
So it's interesting. I mean, there's conversations we've had with folks. You know, they'll call and like that, like I'll be at mass and then they'll call the school after and say, so tell me a little more, you know, about this and how does this really work? And we'll have the conversation. And they said, so what do I need to tell my tax preparer? And so a lot of times I'm like, line 15 on the schedule of credits, because there's literally, it says scholarship donation credit. But since it's newer, and if a preparer hasn't been approached about it, they may not be aware about it. So that's an opportunity again for us to engage
Absolutely.
for all SGOs. You know, that
Absolutely.
there's other SGOs out there too, so they need to be aware that they could be receiving clients that want to participate.
And you can split, I mean, we don't encourage them to split it, but we have an
But
alum.
you can.
We have an alum who lives in Lake County, and
Yep.
I think his grandchildren went to Lake Catholic. And so he and his wife said, we've got to be fair and support Lake Catholic
Yeah.
as well, so we'll do half to St. John and half to Lake Catholic. So, you know, there are ways to spread your wealth.
Yes.
Yeah, very
So
good.
that's been an engaging portion as well too, is the folks in the community that are helping make us realize these dollars that are going to be part of our school and part of the programs for our kids. And that's all happening while we are, in fact, as you mentioned, going into other fundraisers as well. So we are actively promoting, you know, the tax program throughout the year. As long as you make your gift for tax season 2025 before you file, you're good to go. And then we'll start again on April 16th, because you could make your gift that early if you wanted to for next tax season. But obviously we gear up more so in November to share that opportunity. In March, it is our 33rd annual St. Patrick's Day reverse raffle.
And that's been a hit here for years, right?
That is
33 years.
I was just going to say,
How many years?
Sister,
33.
33.
Wow.
And so
So we did that
obviously
back at
newer
the
to
old
the fold.
location, obviously.
Yes.
Mhm. And so I would turn to Sister for the history of the event, because obviously my knowledge is as of late. But this year we're encouraging
33
folks
years.
Saturday, March 14th here at the school. And then leading up to the big night, we have a virtual component that we call 7 Lucky Nights. So even if you can't join us for our in-person shenanigans, you can participate with us virtually.
So I think it started when
Awesome.
things were financially struggling here, and a group of individuals decided that, you know, let's make one big night. And at that time they sold tickets for $1,000, and they sold 100 of them, and then people got dinner, and so it's morphed over the years in terms of
Wow.
changing. Now we sell the reverse raffle ticket at $300, and you can be present or not present. You have a chance to win $2,500 as a main board prize. 5 people share that, and then there's sideboards and online raffles. So there's over $25,000 in money given away that night.
Of the 33 years, does that include the COVID years?
Yes, we did
Yes.
it online.
Oh, you did it online.
Well, the actual COVID year was very funny. I guess I laugh at it now. I wasn't laughing
Not
at
that.
2020 or 2021?
2021.
Mhm.
The raffle, I think, was going to be held on March 15th. I might have the date wrong. And we had sold, it was March 12th, and Nick Detour and Pete Tolino and Maria Fowler and myself and Kristen Garrett were in her office. And it was Wednesday. And we were like, you know, things were getting a little dicey, and people were, but we had all the food ordered, we had all the tickets sold, and it was like, what do we do? And so at 11 o'clock I said, let's go for it. We're going to do it. you know, if people don't come, we can still manage it, and that was 11 o'clock, so they all left. 1 o'clock, Governor DeWine comes on the TV and says the state's in shutdown, everything is closed as of
Boy.
tomorrow. Called up, I said, well, there's our answer. So we had to cancel that year. Many people were kind enough to use it as a donation. We did give refunds
that's
to anybody
good.
who wanted it, and
So you did it online?
yeah. And so that's why we've kept the virtual component of it, because,
Yeah.
you know, we have a lot of supporters out of town who can't come in March for an in-person event. So now it's virtual and in person.
So this 33 years, how does that compare to the big one with the Christmas trees fundraiser? How many years has that been in action?
Interestingly enough, we just celebrated 32 years of Festival
Wow.
of Trees. So our 2026 event will be 33 years as well.
Wow.
So they both started about the same
About
time.
the same time.
Do they both equally match up, bring in about?
So originally Festival of Trees was the larger fundraiser.
And that's here in the gym?
Yes.
It is.
Now Festival of Trees has surpassed it and is a larger fundraiser.
The festival trees. Interesting. Two great fundraisers.
And what's great about them is that, yes, they bring in financial gain to the school. The Festival of Trees, for many people, is the start of their holiday season. You know, dress up in holiday colors, there's Christmas trees to be had, and the whole, you know, it's like entering the North Pole. You know, there's a certain magic about it. St. Patrick's Day is much, you know, as you mentioned, Chuck, I'm Irish, you know.
What?
If you didn't know it.
If we didn't know it, right?
Right. I
You know,
was
my
shocked.
parents were born in Ireland. I've never been to school on St. Patrick's Day. You know, it's the whole 9 yards.
Oh, in case
So
you
I-
haven't noticed, I'm Italian. But go ahead.
So when I came and I saw the St. Patrick's Day raffle, I thought it was going to be, you know, Irish music, and there's not too much Irish about it, other than it takes place on the Saturday before St. Patrick's Day. It's a raffle,
is.
you know, and it's pure and simple, you know, raffle with sideboards and
Right.
pots of gold and, you know, different things like that. So they're a little bit different, but they're about bringing people together. It helps create that family atmosphere, not just in the building, but in the community. You know, that we have that opportunity to be able to do that and to bring people back. And we have one gentleman who's, you know, 2 daughters went to school here. The very first year that the raffle was held, he bought ticket number 1 and 100. And since then, he's always bought number 1 and whatever. This year we have 150 main board tickets. He buys 1
The
and
first one and the
150.
last one.
Yeah. We have other people. You know, I'll never have a St. Patrick's Day raffle that I don't think of Tony Collette, who was a local gentleman from Ashtabula. He was a builder when he was working. His 3 children went to St. John's. He sold, I think, 20 tickets in the beginning, $1,000 ticket. He just went to people and said, "You're buying a ticket." And then Nancy B., who was a strong support, Nancy Benedict. I don't know what deals she made with people. She'd stand outside a church and get $20 from you, and you know, I don't know exactly. She wasn't. She was deceased before I came, but I've heard the stories of her. But it's about that kind of community support that makes this happen.
Now, what's this fundraiser I see every once in a while? Nick Irochi, your AD,
Oh,
drawing
spin
out
in
a
the
ticket
bin.
or something.
So it's a
on Facebook.
progressive athletic raffle.
So how does that do?
So that's a required fundraiser for the students who are in the athletic program. We don't charge any student an athletic fee to play on a team. They do need to participate. So it starts off in September and goes through May. And in September, the prize, I might have these numbers wrong, is 100, goes to 150, 200.
So it's kind of like a lottery thing?
Yeah, it's sort of like a lottery ticket. You get a number, and then we draw it once a month. And
You get that number you get stays for every
For the
month.
whole year,
Yeah,
right.
that same number.
Yes.
And that's drawn on when? Do we know that?
first Wednesday of every
I
month?
think so.
Okay, that leads me to a good one. That was a good one. Do we still, last time I was here, we had something called Win Wednesdays.
Oh, yes.
What was
So
that?
that was
I
part
thought
of-
it was because there was a tournament game that day, and I thought, let's win. 'Cause
No,
we were here on a
I like
Wednesday.
that.
Win Wednesday, but
So-
that's not what it was about.
No,
So last year, or when I referenced we have a theme each year, that was part of it. So do you want to share
so
that, sister?
one of our efforts to create leadership among our students is the Leader in Me program. So Leader in Me program is based on Steve Covey's 7 Habits of Effective Leadership. And one of them is to look at life through win-win efforts. So if there's a problem, how can we turn it into Chuck wins, Sister Maureen wins, rather than I beat Chuck because I'd always beat you.
Yes,
She's
you
not
will.
a competitive Irish woman at all.
It really helps students find that win Wednesday kind of approach to life. You know, that it doesn't have to be you versus me. It's about how we can advance.
I knew there was something, it wasn't about the game winning
No,
that day.
it was about helping students. So last year, for the whole year, as part of our efforts to do this, we helped students find an area that might not be part of the actual school community. So we had a whole group of students who worked with our head janitor on craft projects, woodworking projects. They created some cornhole boards.
Mm-hmm.
We had another group of students who did kitchen culinary types of things. So some extra events that wouldn't be part of normal extracurriculars that they would spend time each Wednesday delving into. We had a sportsmanship group where we looked at how we could be better sportsmanship here, how we could create sportsmanship with some of our rivals. So it was looking at various efforts. We don't have it this year as a actual program each Wednesday, but we still develop it by teaching these 7 habits in the classroom to our students in various ways. The 7th graders especially have a class that really looks at these 7 habits and how they can be implemented in their daily lives.
Very good.
So interestingly enough, Chuck, you were with us last year on Win Wednesday,
Yes.
and this year you're with us on Tax Credit Tuesday.
Tax credit, wow. And now that leads me to my next question.
There you go.
Because you said Father Hetzel comes here on Thursdays.
He does,
So I gotta make sure I come next time on a Thursday.
Yes.
What are my chances, sister, I'll ask you, of being able to interview him that day?
Oh.
Whatever Thursday I
Oh.
come.
Yeah, that'd be
You think
great.
he would be up for it?
Oh, yes, I
Oh,
think
yeah.
so. I'll tell him he has to.
Yeah.
So I think
just
he'd be
love to
delighted.
interview. I think to me, he's intriguing.
He
I find him
absolutely
very
is.
interesting. I love his homilies. I'd like to get to pick his brain a little bit.
Yeah,
you know?
no, I think he'd be happy to. I'll
You
talk
think
to
he
him.
would be?
Yeah,
So he's
absolutely.
here every Thursday for the entire school day.
yeah. Unless occasionally there might be something that,
He gets called
Called away
away
for
for
Let me
an
guess, does he
emergency.
eat lunch with the kids too?
or with the faculty.
or with the
and-
faculty.
I
Yeah.
think that is just incredible. So
And I have to
I'd
tell
like
you,
to do it
in
some
speaking
Thursdays
to-
this school season. Would
Yeah,
that be
definitely.
possible?
Yeah, definitely. I think the other thing that
Can I set that up with Kristen?
mhm.
Yeah,
Okay.
You know, when we
absolutely.
talk about Tax Credit Tuesday, we talk about Win Wednesdays. I think one of the things that we have really engaged in is the use of social media to create that family atmosphere. It's not just, today we live in a world of social media. I mean,
Oh,
your
yeah.
program,
Yeah.
all these things are absolutes. And you can either fight it or you can engage it to promote your mission. So Keith
I use
Carew
it to
and
promote
Kristen,
my shows.
right? We have to, and so I think we've really embraced it to be able to take on that. And I think Father Connor recognizes that as well. That if you're going to reach young people today, you've got to meet them where they're at. And yeah, there are lots of downfalls to social media and all of that, but we have to teach kids to use it in a way that's responsible. We're looking at that with the AI programs and how we can marry it to faith and how values need to be part of your use of AI. But I think right now it's in terms of social media. So I think Father Connor would be delighted to be part of that and to spread the gospel message through that. And, I think he would see it as an opportunity to be an evangelizer.
Well, kind of put that in his ear when you see
I
him
will.
on Thursday, and then I'll get with you. Do
Sure.
I have your email?
You do.
Okay. Yes, because you've sent me emails before. Okay, anything else you guys like to talk about as we wrap things up here?
No, we're just grateful to you, Chuck,
Yes.
I
and to
love
really
coming out here.
the entire Ashtabula County community for embracing St. John and for being part of our mission and helping us to create mission moments, throughout the year. One of the things we do, we asked earlier about our administrative team, when we meet monthly to kind of plan and to provide feedback on things, we try to start with mission moments. You know, what has happened this month or what's coming in the coming month that really enforces scholarship, faith, and leadership. And, you know, this opportunity to share that with people in Conneaut and people throughout the county who turn into your program makes a huge difference for us. And we're extremely grateful for those people who continue to support our mission, whether it's through their prayers, whether it's through their presence, or through their financial donations. All are important to us.
Well, thank you. It's a must for me to come out here and promote too every year. In closing, I also think it's a sports story. You guys use you know how to get sports.
You know I love sports.
No, but this is high school. You guys use the Lakeside Stadium for football, and then the Lakeside basketball team is using your gymnasium, so you guys work pretty good with that.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I think that's great.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, that is
I wish we could do more for Lakeside in terms of use of the gym, but their schedule and they're in a conference that they are, you know, bound to certain days. They don't have the flexibility necessary to say, well, we can move this game to here. And
So since they're using your building and they have the concession stand, is that money all going to Lakeside, or are you guys splitting that, or is that, or is
so
the whole school get that?
the gate and all of that belongs to Lakeside. We do concessions for them only because of, and it's the same when we have football games. They take the concessions to try to bring in food and try to keep what St. John's, you know, is this can of pop St. John's or is it
Right.
Lakeside? It just
Right.
would become challenging. But they keep the gates and all of that.
Well, see, I said that was going to be my final thing, but I just thought of something else. Do we still have Spaghetti Wednesdays?
Yes.
Oh,
You
yes.
still have that?
Pasta
You gotta make sure we come on a
Wednesdays.
Wednesday, and Nick Gairochi said I need to come here on a Wednesday.
You do. Well, and depending what you like, 1 week it's lasagna, 1 week it's rotini, 1 week it's this.
Kristen, I
Much-
think I like it all.
Much to my daughter loves, that's what gets her out of bed on Wednesdays. Pasta Wednesdays and pizza Fridays.
So Tuesdays is tax credit Tuesday.
Yeah.
Wednesday is pasta. Thursday is throwback.
Yes,
and probably
throwback
that's all we
Thursday
Oh.
for
look at
for our
the-
lunch.
Now,
Yes.
what do you?
I haven't
tell
done
me about
Monday and
throwback.
Friday. So throwback Thursdays we look to the past. So like during Catholic Schools Week, we'll put up images of past Catholic Schools Week. Homecoming, we'll put up past homecoming queens and kings and football games. So we look at what things have happened in the past that might engage people. We'll look at when the seniors were kindergarten.
Oh,
you
how
know.
cool.
So it kind of helps create that continuity and
That's
also
cool.
helps create, again,
Yeah.
that sense of
And
community.
Another thing you guys do here, I'm sure you still do it, where you have the high school kids
And
meet
the
up with the
kindergarten,
little
yeah.
kids.
Mhm.
I think that is so.
It's
Those little
nice.
kids must look up to them as like rock stars.
They do, and the seniors are thrilled to be with the little kids.
Yeah.
I think it brings out the little kid in them that
Yes.
sometimes older kids are afraid to, you know, expose themselves to.
Yeah. And you do that when? On Fridays?
Different days, depends on what's happening. So the senior teachers and the kindergarten teachers, one from Conneaut, we'll talk about
We
what
can
are,
say her name. I know she wants her name.
Hi,
Bethany
Bethany.
Cox.
and her two children are here. So it gives them a chance. So they look at strategic moments rather than saying every Friday or every, you know, second Friday. It depends on what's happening. So, you know, they'll do something for Valentine's Day. They've done things. They'll do things for St. Patrick's Day. One of the seniors will dress up as a leprechaun and
Run
before
around
St.
the building.
Patrick's Day run around and knock on the kindergarten doors and things like that.
Who wins the Super Bowl?
I don't,
Who you rooting
sister,
for?
I don't know who's playing, so I'm gonna
Seattle
turn that one to
and-
you.
Seattle and New England.
I'm rooting for
Thank
New
you.
England.
New England?
I like their quarterback. And their coach is a Cleveland, Northeast Ohio
Yes.
native. He went to Walsh Jesuit. He's Catholic.
Yes.
His mom was a public school principal at Brush High School when I taught at Regina. So there's a lot of Cleveland connections.
I like
Go Patriots.
Go Patriots.
I think they're the underdog.
Kristen doesn't care.
I think they're the underdog, right? Aren't they getting points?
Yeah.
My first
4.5, I
exposure
think.
to media in Ashtabula when I came
No
was
gambling,
going on.
sister. No gambling.
It's just a friendly wager. No! It's legal in Ohio!
Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess.
I'll be prepared for that next year.
Next year.
Next tax credit season, I'll have I'll
Maybe the
brush up
Browns
on
will
my
be at one of
football
these
for
days.
you.
What, sister?
I'm a woman of hope.
That's what we gotta have. It's all about hope, right?
Absolutely.
We have to have it. Well, I enjoyed this. I hope you guys did. I know I winged it and I missed out probably a lot of questions that I was gonna ask you, but hopefully we got a lot of things covered.
We did.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Good luck with this.
Thank you, Bob, our cameraman.
And Bob's back there. And we love coming out here, and you're gonna work, your assignment is to work on Father
Yes.
Hetzel and make sure he comes. And what's your assignment?
I'm gonna
Oh,
do
I'm
this
gonna-
little tax
you're gonna
credit
set it up.
program.
You're gonna set it up for me.
And St. Patrick's Day.
There
And then
you go.
yes, I'll happily set that up for you.
There you go.
Yeah.
Sister Maureen Burke and Kristen Kitchen today on Around the Town with Chuck from St. John's School.